The deep sea is home to many strange creatures and structures. In this video, we will take you on a journey from the surface, through the twilight zone and to the abyssal plains. Using ROV footage, we will show you the weird and wonderful world of the deep, from bioluminescence to hydrothermal vents, to the effects mankind are having even at such an unreachable depth, in the form of plastics and what, if anything, can be done about it.
Many animals in the deep sea have had to adapt to their environment, including the hatchetfish, anglerfish, and many more. Some, however, like the six-gill shark, haven't adapted at all. Starting with the hagfish, we can first note that these creatures do not actually have jaws, but eat at animals fallen into the deep with the 2 rows of teeth that they have on the sides of their mouths. One of the amazing adaptations that the hagfish have is that they have special glands all over their body which emit a type of sticky slime. This slime is reinforced with little fibres that will make it difficult to remove. Because of this, many people believe that hagfish use their slime to protect themselves from predators, as the slime can clog their gills and suffocate them if they come into contact with it. Hagfish have poorly developed eyes, but a brilliant sense of smell and touch, which helps them find their prey in the deep sea. Another adaptation these fish have is the ability to live in high external ammonia due to their feeding habits. The animals they feed on are high in ammonia as they live inside of carcasses. One marine mammal that hasn't adapted to the deep ocean is the six-gill shark. These sharks have been described as living fossils as they have been around for over 150 million years and they are still unchanged. Because they live in the deep sea and the fact that they live a very solitary lifestyle, not many people have seen or observed a six-gill shark, meaning very little is known about their behaviour.
Next we can talk about hatchetfish. We can look at how they survive in the twilight zone. They are classified as masters of hide and seek. Their bodies have a number of features that will help them to survive. They have large sensitive eyes which assist them in finding prey in the dark waters. They have flat bodies which are silvery and are nigh on impossible to see because their bodies reflect blue light from the sea's surface. As well as using this mechanism to hunt prey, they also use it to hide from predators that are lurking in the depths below. One main adaptation is on their bellies, and it is covered in light-producing cells called photophores. These cells are used to match the blue light that comes from the surface to make themselves into a barely visible silhouette. The photophores that they have beneath their eyes are used to search for prey. Most of the bioluminescence in the deep is either blue or green in colour, with very few fish producing red light. This is mainly because red light is rare down in the deep and in the ocean in general. For example, it is the first colour that stops being visible when you are diving. Bioluminescence is also useful in escape. For example, when a shrimp senses a threat, it will release a bioluminescent package by spinning around so that the predator is startled. A Gigantocyprius is an ostropod with extremely sensitive eyes. It will search for copepods that are flashing in the water as they release a bioluminescent liquid. However, the flash is often delayed, and by the time the Gigantocyprius begins to chase the copepod, it is long gone and has managed to slip away into the depths of safety. Bioluminescence is a light created by animals including anglerfish, who have a light generated by bacteria that is used to attract its prey.
My name's Tom and I'm the husbandry supervisor for the Aquarius department at the deep. So bioluminescence is a form of cold light. So whereas heat is made, in this case it's only about 20% heat is actually made by this. And bioluminescence is a light which is created by natural living organisms, so things like deep sea fish and plankton and fireflies and different animals like that. So some animals which use bioluminescence can control the light and some can't. The ones that control the light, they produce 2 different enzymes. One's called luciferin, and one's called luciferase. And when they need to glow, they excrete these 2 enzymes together, and as they react together, they glow, and that's their bioluminescence. Sometimes that's within their body, and sometimes that can be releasing that into the water. Some animals, however, can't actually kind of grow those enzymes themselves, and what they have to do is take on board that kind of part from another animal. So some animals will ingest bioluminescent animals and then use the enzyme that way. Otherwise, it's a symbiotic relationship. So an anglerfish, for example, the glowing kind of ball they have on the front of their head is called an esco. And what they do is they actually grow a bacteria, and the bacteria creates the bioluminescence. So in some cases the animal can control it and do it whenever they want, and in some cases it's just something that happens continuously. Animals use bioluminescence for many different reasons. Sometimes it's to attract prey in, so that right down at the very depths of the ocean, where it's very, very dark, if you have something glowing, that can often attract smaller fish, so like the anglerfish again, as it comes towards them, the animal's dazzled by it and they can eat it. Some cases it's to scare something off, so there's certain shrimp and squid and other animals which kind of almost produce a light show, or they can kind of vomit out a bioluminescent cloud, and that's going to confuse their predators. So there's many different ways. Fireflies use it to attract mates, lots and lots of different reasons for an animal to use bioluminescence as part of their life. So there are many different ways that scientists are looking at how we could use bioluminescence, where it can be more environmentally friendly, or we can make it more efficient for us to live. In the 1980s, scientists from California grew a tobacco plant with the DNA from a firefly. So this tobacco plant actually at night time in the field glowed green, and that was to see if they could use that, if they could kind of take the bioluminescent bacteria, or if they could take that out of the animal and grow it into other things. And they found they could. So the idea is, hopefully, what they're going to look at is growing trees that glow at night time. Glow-in-the-dark trees, essentially, that use a natural form to do that, in the hope that we can use bioluminescence as a alternative to electrical lights, or any kind of energy-consuming heated lights like that. So that's the plan. That's what they're looking at. The other thing they've used it for is as a marker for medical use. So certain types of jellyfish can bioluminescent as well. And what they've done is they've used that chemical to mark cancerous cells in the human body as well. So you can inject that into the body, and it actually is attracted to those cancerous cells. And it's another way of showing up whether or not there could be problems in the future.
Another adaptation of the deep is the large vestimentiferan worms. Over 6 feet long, these tube worms secrete a thick paper-like tube along the body. These worms exist on deep-sea hydrothermal vents. These vents are like hot springs on the ocean floor. They're found along mud ocean ridges where tectonic plates have a divergent plate boundary, and magma has risen and cooled to form a new crust. Seawater will circulate deep into the crust and become heated by hot magma, and then pressure will build as the seawater warms. It'll dissolve minerals and rise towards the surface. The hot water, now rich with minerals, will exit and mix with the cool water above, and as they cool, they form different types of hydrothermal vents. The conversion of mineral-rich hydrothermal fluid into energy is a key aspect of hydrothermal vents. It's through the process of chemosynthesis that bacteria provide energy and nutrients to different species found in and around the vents, without the need for sunlight. Deep-sea hydrothermal vent communities were once thought to be completely isolated from other ecosystems. However, scientists now believe that even these won't be able to escape the effects of climate change. It has been found that inhabitants of the vents, in particular shrimp, depend on food that sinks down from the surface. It is believed that global warming is likely to decrease the surface water's net productivity by a lot, meaning that shrimp will soon feel the effects of it.
Another effect that we are having on our deep seas is the mass distribution of plastics. With information received from the Global Oceanographic Data Centre, it is recorded that from the 5,010 dives conducted since 1983, 3,425 debris items were found that were man-made. More than 33% of that was microplastics, with 89% being single-use products. In areas deeper than 6,000 metres, the ratios increased to 52% and 92% respectively. We could see how these microplastics affect the deep by looking at organisms that live on the sea floor. It will show that plastic microfibers are ingested by members of at least 3 different phyla. These phyla had both ingested debris and ingested plastics. 86.8% of the ingested debris came from primary plastics, with the rest being composed of metal and wood. For the first time ever, microplastics have reached the most remote marine environments. Microplastic pollution has spread throughout the world's seas and oceans and into the remote and largely unknown deep sea. Be mindful of the waste that you produce. Try using reusable cups, avoid plastic, especially one-use plastic like straws, and lower your carbon footprint by walking more or using public transport. It's time for us to do something about this before it's too late.
Before it's too late.
Before it's too late.